Yeah. Right. Coming up in a second, we have a match that when I first saw it in this spreadsheet, I almost got giddy with excitement.
Oh dear.
OC, give your predictions for JaffaPadawan versus n0body versus DvinJo versus Nyaruko.
Think you nobody Nyar Jaffa.
Jaffa last. Okay.
Jaffa last. TA Merchant.
Team
Oh
Merchant,
shit,
you
I probably should
reckon?
have said that. Oh, I also should have said that. That's my two. Oh, I'm sorry, pal.
Nice, nice. Well done. Really racking them up at a
You
pace.
can put the VOD right
Um,
there.
yeah, exactly. Good stuff, right? I shall let you get on. If you want to join me for some co-casting,
Absolutely not. I need to cook food and
you
stretch my
need to
legs.
eat.
And the last thing I want to look at right now is the spec
So-
map, honestly.
Fair enough. I will let you get on with it then.
Yeah, enjoy.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Best of luck in last week. Well, that was OC. That actually ended up being a banger game. When I looked at the lineup of games I was casting, I didn't really expect that to be such a fun one, but yeah, it happily caught me off guard. But yes, we will be underway very shortly with this Div 1 match. I will grab leaderboard up for you. Div 1 are currently one game behind Div 2 in terms of where they're at on the leaderboard, which they will be catching up, well, right now. But we have an interesting set of players. First of all, we have DvinJo. DvinJo, who just got a very unlikely win against Wizzy and Leo. I don't think... And I certainly would have picked DvinJo to win that. But, you know, he's clearly put in some time, put in some work, and is currently sat 5th in the overall standings, and has a chance try and move further up still in this match, where he is against n0body, who played reasonably well against Hendo. Got Hendo down to about 20 points. Seemed to have a lot of pace, but struggle with consistency. Something I often find myself saying about DvinJo. Next up, we have Nyaruko, a player with a lot of pace who struggles with consistency. And then finally, we have Jaffa, a currently kind of mid-table player who I thought going into the season was looking pretty good. A third and a second so far to show for his efforts. Although in 10th, he already seems... He's already 3 points clear of the relegation area, so... he'll probably be having an eye back on that, but I think he'll be looking up the table rather than down. We have a spicy one here. We have 4 players separated by only 6 positions, 3 of which I know as pacey, inconsistent players, and Jaffa, who I also know to be very fast. And perhaps... No, I've just fought back to Jaffa Corner from Division 1, if anyone was watching at that point. Yeah, thinking back to that. I'll see. But the match is underway. And we start here. Jaffa, Nya, n0body, DvinJo. I'm excited for this match. Should be a good one. DvinJo with an early lead over n0body. Nyaruko making the first of what I assume could be a few mistakes across all players this game. Gives Jaffa a chance to move up. n0body, second player to go into the wall. We're looking like Wipeout right here. But DvinJo, the one keeping it steady, gets a gear drop there, but it's not going to matter because the next player is a second behind. And it's called JaffaPadawan, who will try and close this gap, but I think this is going to be a little too much to make up here. I think he'll take a second place though, a second off the pace though. Given the caliber of player in this match, he'll just be happy to not be losing too many points on a run where I presume he made a mistake towards the start. DvinJo finishes his run, loses 0.7 in the end, somehow. I don't know how. It's already begun. I can't wait. I'm so excited for this match. It begins. Here we go. Every single player made a mistake. DvinJo, Jaffa, Nya, n0body. Almost exactly what Epos predicted. Epos puts a good race in chat. We'll see. Get underway on round 2 here. Everyone almost looking like we're weaving about there. I'm not quite sure what that was, but DvinJo, who led through this section last time, is now currently in last. Jaffa going very wide there. Vaguely holds it together, but loses a bit of time. All the players separated by less than a tenth here. Nyaruko in the lead from n0body. n0body's going to have a better line going on to this. Nyar gets a little bit wobbly. DvinJo still in last after the win last round. We're in almost a complete reversal of position compared to what has happened on the leaderboard. All players keeping it consistent thus far. n0body is going to get a slightly better entry here. Then Nyar's going to hold together. DvinJo goes for the inside line. This tricky gear hold that is going to catch him up. He gets past 1. He gets past 2 by the looks of things, but he dropped a bit of time here. He does it this time around. He picks up a 2nd place. n0body loses first round, comes first in the 2nd round. All the players separated by 3 tenths. Any of those times would have won the last round by about 0.7. So, yeah, this is going to be great. n0body sets down the first proper benchmark for the fastest lap point. We get 2 more rounds on this map, where players will get an opportunity to try and take it off him. It doesn't look like he'll be defending it this time as he starts about a tenth down compared to Jaffa and Nyaruko, who have the early lead here. Jaffa now leading ahead of Nyar. DvinJo 3rd, n0body 4th. Entire field only separated by 0.3. This is going to be so tight. Nyar getting a slightly better drift exit there. DvinJo dropping back a little bit. Giving a comfy 3rd, but he will now go for the inside. It doesn't work. He is likely to finish this round 4th unless anyone messes up the end. We'll see how it goes. Nyaruko leading ahead of JaffaPadawan. Will they finish in this order? Yes, we will finish in the complete opposite order of leaderboard position. Of course we will. Why wouldn't we? That would make sense. Everyone separated by 4 points after the first 3 rounds here. n0body holds on to the fastest lap point for now. This is the last opportunity anyone is going to have to take him. 103 flag. You see someone driving 102, that will be fastest lap. Someone who won't be driving a 102 is Nyaruko. With an instant mistake there on the reactor. 4 attempts down in this match. That could likely be game for him unless anyone else makes a mistake. We'll see how they all get on. n0body looking good. DvinJo touches the outside wall, and that does let Nyar back into it. And Nyar, in fact, challenging for 2nd now against JaffaPadawan. n0body gapping the entire field by 0.4. He is on a belter run. Doesn't want anyone to take that fast lap off him, and if he runs around, no one will be. But he has lost a bit of speed coming out of that drift. We got Jaffa and Nyar hunting down n0body now. DvinJo is going to go... I don't know where DvinJo is. There's DvinJo. I don't know if he went for the inside line, but if he did, it didn't make up enough time to matter. n0body looks to be holding on. Jaffa 2nd, Nyar 3rd. And I'm already exhausted. I'm already exhausted from this game. n0body gets the match record point as well as leading the match after this, but the field exits match 1. Separated by only 7 points. Absolute chaos. We'll now see how they get on Creel. A very different map. Obviously, we can't read into warm-up, but we'll see how they get on, and n0body has claimed he's about to lose a cataclysmic amount of points. It seems ridiculous that I have already spectated n0body today. I've already watched his match. The match that he did at 7 PM against Hendo. And I can't particularly remember how he got on here. Because of the chaos of the Stegen OC game. Yari's claiming shotgun on this point. Nobody is claiming it for Jaffa. DvinJo is also in the match. We'll see how this goes. I think this could be quite a tight battle here. DvinJo goes from match of the year to classic DvinJo. Are you talking about the Baltic Cup or the previous match that just happened? Sorry, DvinJo, that's me. But we get underway here on Creel. Very tricky, a very punishing map. Early lead seems to be going to Nyar and JaffaPadawan. Nobody in DvinJo in third and fourth. Everyone survives this downhill dirt. It's a very easy place to make a mistake. We see Nyar going for an earlier drift setup. Doesn't seem to have worked out particularly well for him there as he dropped back to fourth place. Jaffa clips the inside there. That will drop him down. And DvinJo now left in the lead with nobody chasing him in second. Nobody the current match leader for whatever that's worth. But it looks like this will be going the way of DvinJo in round one. Anyone able to hand down positions? No, there seems to be about 0.4 gap separating the entire field. You're unable to catch up to nobody either there. And that still leaves us with no clear indication of where anyone is in the pecking order, as the person who is in last just won the round. Jaffa, the first player into the 60s, though. But perhaps the player to be most concerned about, but that was due to one little clip on the track where I reckon he had some decent pace. Right on board with him for this round, see how he gets on. Well, Nyar clips a wheel onto the inside hole there and will lose out some time to Jaffa. And now he's not a good person to ride aboard with because he's in first. There's now Jaffa's round leading DvinJo, the winner of the previous round, leading nobody, who came second last round. All the players only separated by about 2 tenths though. We'll see if there's any different lines here. Jaffa goes for that wide outside line. And it seems to work for him. He carries all the speed in the world. And he goes flying past DvinJo. Snipes both DvinJo and nobody on the line. Nobody declares guh. Whatever that means. And that is going to move nobody and DvinJo on to joint first place. Jaffa in third, but only 4 points behind. And Yar now in last place. All players still within 10 points here. There is no way to predict this match. And I think performances in last chance could end up mattering a great deal more here than in some other matches. As I don't think we'll be entering a staggered last chance where there's 20-point gaps between all players. I think all the players will be entering last chance around the same time. But we'll see. There's still a long way to go in this match. Jaffa gets a very funky line through there. Manages to keep it out the wall though and keeps his lead. DvinJo, Nyaruko, and nobody all right next to each other. I'm gonna go on board with Jaffa for this. We'll see if he tries with outside line again. Yes, he does. He goes so outside there, he touches. And he goes from first to fourth like that. Nyaruko nails the outside line though and is now leading the round. And gets past both DvinJo and nobody. And like that, Jaffa's now last in the match. Yeah, that is one of the greatest outsides I've ever seen from nobody there. Fast lap is DvinJo's. We are on to the final round here on Creel. Is anyone else going to snatch that point away from DvinJo? 56.7 is the time he laid down. Very, very respectable time. That was the time being driven by Hendo in the previous match. And that was a time that nobody, certainly in that match, was unable to surpass. But Jaffa's shown good pace here. Just made a couple of costly errors. Could he try and hunt down this fastest match point? We'll have to see. All the players absolutely neck and neck here. Half a tenth separating them. We're now going to see the split of the lines. We're going to see Jaffa and Yar going outside. DvinJo and n0body going inside. Jaffa doesn't really fully commit to it. Nyaruko doesn't get it as well as his previous run, but it's still going to be enough to overtake n0body. But DvinJo will hold on to the fastest lap point. n0body very confused what happened there for him to end up last. But for the first time this match, I think we do actually have a player with a slight lead for me. DvinJo does have a 10-point lead over second place now. Second down to fourth, separated by only 7 points. It is by no means a full story. But this round, this match, yeah, this could still go absolutely anyway. We get onto Gon here, onto the spec map, onto the newer map, a map that may have been practiced a bit less by people. Given DvinJo's performance in his previous match, I'm going to presume he's looking decent on it. n0body seemed to have pace against n0 here, but struggled for consistency. Nyaruko and Jaffa, I genuinely have no idea. So we'll have to see. Well, their warm-ups aren't inspiring me. Our warm-up has given me just a second to try and catch my breath. Well, we get underway here. The final new map, the final rotation, the final chance to pick up those match record points. n0body with the lead for now, ahead of Jaffa, ahead of DvinJo. Yeah, a tenth behind or so. Everyone makes it neatly through the water section. We're going to see how people get on with this drift here. Yara and Jaffa with very different lines. Sorry, n0body and Jaffa with very different lines there. I'm going to have to say that it's probably advantage for n0body. As we now see DvinJo trying to hunt down JaffaPadawan. This dirt section is very, very tricky. We're going to see anyone messing up the end here. We are not, though only 14 thousandths between DvinJo and JaffaPadawan. The table, the players once again are finishing in a fairly opposite order of the actual table. DvinJo losing some of his advantage there. Nyar declaring, see you next map. Perhaps not overly pracked on this. And perhaps giving a slight chance to JaffaPadawan there. Jaffa with the classic Scottish, isn't it? Lagging a little bit there. But it doesn't seem to have actually cost him any time. As he is in first place, he goes wide through that drift zone. That is not the optimum line. And he clips that water, and that is a huge mistake. And the gap between DvinJo and n0body at the front, and Nyar and Jaffa at the back, is going to grow, not just in terms of this round, but in terms of the match as a whole. Until I open my mouth, and DvinJo gets one of the most costly crashes he possibly could, almost getting his wheel jammed there. And Yar, who declared, you know, see you next map, is still going to be able to salvage his second place, despite being 3 seconds down. Nobody drives a 101 flat. Respectable time there. But yeah, I rather get feelings for the GL Feral. A little bit ironic. Nobody's certainly seeming to be the benefactor from being on this track though, as he now moves into the lead of the match, having been 13 points behind DvinJo coming into it. We've only been here 2 rounds, and he's already ended up in the match lead with the fastest, well, the match record point. But DvinJo, in the lead for now, is going to try and challenge that. Nyar and Jaffa at the back, but by tiny margins. Never mind. Jaffa crashes. Nyaruko still sticking close with the leading pair of n0body and DvinJo. Let's see, DvinJo obviously made a very costly mistake here last time. Doesn't do it again. That has bled a little bit of time to Nyaruko. Nyaruko gets the dirt section slightly better. And with a poor exit, that will be n0body picking up his 3rd successive win here. Nyaruko second. I think he will be very happy with that, given his expectation coming into this. And then Jaffa just trying to finish to avoid the -12. This is n0body's world and we're all just living in it. I think it is on Gone. It certainly seems to be. Jaffa starting to get a little detached from the group now here. Only on 30 points. 10 points behind Nyaruko. Now, I think considering his expectation on this map and his pace, will be very happy with the 2 second place he's just picked up. n0body has the option here, or has the chance, to try and go and get 4 from 4 here. We'll see if he can manage it. Nyaruko into the wall. That leaves n0body, Jaffa and DvinJo at the front. Jaffa will be hoping he can get some points on Nyaruko there. Jaffa somehow survives that. And seems to carry some speed out of it. Him versus DvinJo is going to be very tight heading into this final section. Jaffa seems to get a slightly better exit, as long as there are no issues with the finish, which there are. And Jaffa drops about a 10.5 on the finish there, but will move DvinJo in front of him. And there we go. n0body wins 4 out of 4 there. And will be picking up a fastest lap point. I can't remember how fast lap points have now played out, I'll be honest. Trying to keep track of this match is challenging. If KJ does know, that would be appreciated. Although I believe it is 2 going the way of n0body and 1 going the way of DvinJo. So no matter what happens now, n0body at least walking away with a few points. Returning back to Drowsy now. I think it's a map where there was no, like, clear strongest player. DvinJo was the only person able to go for that inside line, and the times it worked, it seems to work out very well for him. So I would back DvinJo from a point of view of pace here. However, from a point of view of consistency, I probably wouldn't. So I think, you know, if we're expecting a similar performance to the previous cycle on here, then all the players should lose a relatively similar amount of points. But of course, momentum is a big thing in Trackmania. And momentum is with n0body right now. But that could just be related to the Specs map, to Gone. We'll see if it carries on to here. JaffaPadawan and Nyaruko, the two players at the back of the table, currently at the front of the match. Of the round, even. DvinJo and n0body at the back. We'll see how this all works out. Nyaruko getting some bumpy dirt lines there. That's going to lose him a bit of time. JaffaPadawan going to need a decent drift here if he wants to extend his lead at all. Nyaruko gets a very good drift. In fact, it's too good, and he falls off the platform. That's going to be Nyar out of contention for this round. Then DvinJo going to go for his inside line. Does he make it work? Yes, he does. But he's carrying a little less speed than Jaffa. It's all going to come down to this final section. Jaffa desperately could use a round win here. And is he going to get it? Yes, he does. And n0body snipes DvinJo by 4,000th of a second. Holy, what a good round between all the players there. Other than Nyar. But, yeah, half a tenth separating the top three there. But Jaffa, taking the honours from it, lifts himself off the foot of the table. Still only 13 points between second and fourth in this game. n0body with an 18-point lead after some consistent rounds, though. We'll see how they get on. The second round of the second rotation. Jaffa carrying lost speed for a bit, but seems to have lost it now. DvinJo looking to try and overtake him. n0body also there as well. In fact, the entire field all separated by just over a tenth. Nyaruko is going to be trying not to overcook this drift like he did last time and carry so much speed he falls off the platform on the left. He doesn't this time. DvinJo is in the lead. Let's see how the inside line works for him. Round ball with Jaffa. Does he emerge in front? Yes, he does. Is he going to be able to hold it this time, though? Last time he might have been in front here, but he ended up third. Looks good for this time, though. Jaffa versus n0body going to be super close, but it will be going the way of n0body. DvinJo making amends for the previous round. Nyaruko dropping further behind here. And Nyaruko is on a slightly scary number now, because if he picks up another fourth place, if he ends up fourth for a third round of the bounce, he will be thrown into last chance here and could be an early victim in this match. So right aboard of him, see if he can string together a slightly stronger run. We know he has the pace, but can he hold it together when it matters? For now, he has the lead. However, it is very tight between him and Jaffa. He gets a better line here than he sometimes does. Still ends up a little bouncy on the dirt. Still clips there. And, oh, that is spectacular. It is DvinJo versus Jaffa at the front here. This is a huge opportunity for JaffaPadawan. His rival in Nyaruko at the back. If Jaffa can avoid losing any more points here, that'll be good. DvinJo goes into the wall. 3 players have now crashed, and let's just open the gates to JaffaPadawan, who just needs to finish here, which he does with no issues at all. 1 of 3-3. DvinJo picks up second after the mistake on the inside line. n0body ends up third, and Nyar gets thrown onto last chance after a dreadful run around. Cost him 30 points here on Drowsy. Now, if I had to place a prediction, there are 2 scenarios here. Nyaruko gets eliminated, or Nyaruko makes it onto God and survives the whole of Creel after this. I think it'll be one of those 2. He's just such an inconsistent player. You never quite know what you're going to get from him. Will he crack under the pressure? Or will he thrive under it? We'll have to see. He has an early lead here, though. Only behind DvinJo at this point. Goes slightly wide here, but isn't going to have any issues at all. Avoids this bumpy dirt line he's been getting, and he avoids making the same mistake as he did in the third round. Goes for his drift here. Doesn't fall off the lights like the first round. n0body is currently in last, the leader of the match, actually. We'll see whether he tries to pull any heroics, but Nyaruko Looking like he's got a decent chance of survival, but that line might not have been what he was after. He's got more speed than nobody. Can he get a better jump into the finish, though? No, he can't! And Nyaruko is eliminated by the tiniest of margins. 3 thousandths there. Great run from DvinJo to pick up first. Jaffa in second. But Nyaruko exiting from this match early. I think he could have expected more from this. I don't think anyone was the favourite coming into this, or anyone would look at this match and thought they're guaranteed 4th. So, unlucky for Nyaruko there. But 4 consecutive losses on the second rotation, drowsy, costing him. Just seemed to not really be in the flow of things, and it's a shame to see him go out early. That does leave us with n0body, DvinJo, and Jaffa. n0body, perhaps an unexpected point leader, but his lead certainly took a dent going through drowsy. He had about, I believe, an 18-point lead over DvinJo. It's now down to 4. Jaffa only on 12 points, but since falling towards the back of the match, played a lot better on drowsy and could well try and keep himself alive for a little bit, though. But with 12 points, he'll be needing to try and pick up, well, try and avoid getting that pair of second place if I can drop him onto last chance. DvinJo got the match record here. And DvinJo did look fairly comfortable on this map last time round. But the players have had a lot longer to warm up now. They've had a whole rotation of maps. So on the second time of asking, how are they going to play here? To begin with, this looked like an early lead for DvinJo. Jaffa about a tenth behind him, and n0body about a tenth behind that. Everyone survives the downhill section. Are they all going to make it cleanly onto the fragile reactor? Ish. I would not say n0body's done it cleanly, but he didn't full crash. Either way, he looks destined for last place this round, so we get a battle. No, we don't. We don't get a battle between Jaffa and DvinJo. In fact, we get a battle between Jaffa and n0body. No, we don't get any battle. Everyone's just in line now. That one's disappointing. Jaffa still going for his outside line. Is he going to carry a ton of speed and try and get n0body? No, he's not. That isn't going to work out. DvinJo carrying on his strength on this track will move level on points now with n0body on 27. JaffaPadawan down on 3. Quite likely to fall into last chance of the next few rounds. In fact, the only way to avoid last chance is a round win here, so Jaffa might as well send it. He's got, you know, nothing to lose. And he certainly won't be finishing last as DvinJo goes into the wall. A costly error from DvinJo. And we now end up Jaffa versus n0body. Absolutely neck and neck through here. I think Jaffa has potentially looked faster from here. They've obviously got the 2 different end lines as well, so I'll be intrigued to see how that works out if they stay as close to each other as they currently are. n0body with a very small advantage, but we're looking at fractions of a tenth of a second right now. We see Jaffa going through the other line. Is it going to work? Does he have more exit speed than n0body? It's going to be tight. It's going to be so close. But by 20 thousandths. n0body holds on. And Jaffa will enter last chance here as DvinJo falls back into second place. Now a 7-point gap down to n0body. Jaffa has performed alright on this map, but he still faces some serious risk of elimination. And he'll need to survive a fair few rounds on last chance, I reckon, if he wants to try and see if he can grab second. And that is not how he wants to do it. He clips there. And now we have n0body versus DvinJo. a battle of, well, trying to be consistent, I reckon. Jaffa a bit of a gap behind, and DvinJo isn't consistent. DvinJo doesn't get the drift there, ends up just snapping into the inside wall. And this has thrown Jaffa an absolute lifeline. A lifeline of about 0.3 of a second. He will go for his outside dirt, but I don't think it's going to matter against DvinJo, and he doesn't have any more speed for n0body this time round. But he will survive, and DvinJo now only one round from last chance. If he loses the next round, he will fall on last chance, and we will have double last chance with DvinJo and Jaffa. That would be a bit tasty. Last round here on Creel. Can Jaffa keep himself alive? n0body a little behind at the start, but not enough to particularly matter. Makes up the time in a good drift there. All players pretty much neck and neck. If that was an actual TP rather than a fake finish, I would love to see what that split was, but only a 10th and a half now between all of them. DvinJo avoids the no slide that cost him last time, but he still finds himself in third. Jaffa and n0body with a tiny advantage. A lot of this could come down to the different ending lines. We're going to ride on board with JaffaPadawan. See how he gets this ending line. He needs to get past at least one of these two players. He gets past one. And it is DvinJo. And DvinJo will be going on to last chance now. And we're going to have a double last chance between JaffaPadawan and DvinJo. And n0body, I think, in an unexpected first place, heading on to Gone, his most comfortable map. He is sitting very pretty here. In 2 rounds, he has a chance to eliminate both the other players, if he can keep it together. But we've seen people struggle under pressure when they're being chased, when they're in the lead and the other players are on last chance. We've seen them under pressure and struggling. What'll happen this time around? The players and warm up on Gone for the last time. DvinJo with an absolutely staggering performance against Leo and Wizzy earlier. Could well end up third in this game. This game where all the players were so close together coming into the match. Or he could go on to win it. I genuinely don't know. We'll have to see. Jaffa, a player who I don't think is at the start of the season he wanted. He's had some tough opponents so far. They both simultaneously crash the wall on the warm-up. Jaffa will be looking for a result today, I think. I think he's only had a third and a second from his matches so far. So if he can pick up another second, that means he won't need to look behind him to worry about relegation scrap. And n0body, who I think was happy to pick up second place in the match with Hendo, could possibly have even gone for more though. Had the chance to pick up a huge win here. We get underway. First round, second rotation of Gone. 2 players in last chance. DvinJo and JaffaPadawan. n0body yet to lose a round on this map in this match. Are we going to see the shock of... No! And DvinJo's crashed! DvinJo has gone into the wall. After 3 consecutive losses. He finds himself upside down there. And JaffaPadawan bridges about a 25-point gap there to almost guarantee survival. And if he just makes it to the finish, he will be coming home with at least a second place. Can he snipe n0body? Can he try and get the point advantage? It looks like he can. n0body lucky to make the finish at all there. But with Jaffa first, n0body second, DvinJo is eliminated in third. That is quite a shock coming into this. It was almost impossible to pick a favourite from this match. But if I'd had to pick one, I probably would have gone with DvinJo. So that is unfortunate. for him. But now... And Jaffa's screwed up the first corner. Well, that's taken a bit of tension out of it. 2 temps. 3 temps. Could be made up, but nobody has only lost 1 round. On this map, the entire match, which was by hairs with Jaff the last time. After making a mistake through the ending section, Jaffa is going to have to push for all he's worth if he wants to try and take n0body here. And can n0body hold it together? He's got the win in his hand. All he has to do is just keep it clean and not lose a 10.5 to the Scotsman. 1 major corner left, just as dirt outside. Jaffa goes into it. And with that, n0body is your match winner from this game of pure chaos. GG. And I'm going to lie down after that. Well, congratulations to n0body there. Ignore the title. OC isn't with me. He's eating food. Absolute belter of a game there. And I think an unexpected winner, in my opinion. n0body hasn't... He's had an odd record in BIPL. In the very first season, he actually seeded 2nd above Wizzy. Was it above Balls? I can't remember. It was one of them. He seeded 2nd and then finished 15th. Something I still don't really know how he did. But this time round, we're seeing that player who did seed 2nd, and that player who is really starting to take a fight to anyone. He will find himself in a good position in the table. I'll have to see how many of the other games have updated so far. From that, of course, n0body picking up 2 fast enough points. So in a game of such volatility, to go and pick up 14 points, he will have to be very, very pleased with.